All right, this is the 2240 that I just built. And I wanted to touch on a couple of things and put up the chronograph of the shot string I just did with it. Now the shot string I just did was at 3/4 power, so almost full power. The average was 550 feet per second with a 13.43 grain pellet. So the average foot-pounds of energy was 9 foot-pounds. But I forgot to mention, oh, and also this barrel is a choked Lothar Walther 12-inch Marauder barrel that I bought from Crosman, from their parts store. I cut off an inch of it to modify the barrel to accept the Crosman platform. But anyway, it's off a Marauder barrel, and I believe it's now 11 inches. Okay, so that's that. But I wanted to also point out, last time I talked about the power valve, I forgot to mention that I also drilled out the center of this to a 1/4 inch. This is a 1/4 inch starter drill. It doesn't grab the brass. You can control the feed, and what it ends up doing is giving you more volume right here. And of course I cut the threads off here and put this on a lathe and remove the threads on it. Anyway, I increased the volume to the maximum, and then of course decreased the amount of travel it has to go through, but we went over that. But the point I'm trying to make on this volume is it doesn't increase the pressure or energy that you're going to get per shot. That's going with a bigger spring, a larger transfer port. You know, obviously this helps. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is consistency is what this does. Because if you use less gas, which I do because I don't have this long or large area to waste any gas, and I don't have a aftermarket heavy hammer spring, I just have the stock hammer spring, and I'm opening up the stock amount. I'm using a small amount of gas, and I can get an average of 660 feet per second. But that lowers your shot count because you're twisting in your stock spring to its maximum. My point is when you use a small amount of gas with an efficient valve, and you enlarge the gas reservoir, the pressure temperature drop with each shot is less. If you use a big spring and you have a small reservoir and a large transfer port, your pressure drop inside here is massive, and so your temperature drop is also massive, so your PSI drop is also massive. So bottom line is your consistency goes out the window. If right now this at 70 degrees, this CO2 gas is about, let's just say 900 PSI inside here. If I just held it in my hand and brought it up to 98.6, the PSI inside this would go to 2000 PSI. So my point is, temperature is everything to a CO2. And when you drop massive amounts of pressure, temperature is directly proportional. So you're also dropping massive temperature, and you are defeating the purpose. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up as far as this goes. And like I said, if you use a 1/4 inch starter drill bit, it goes inside the spring. So the spring, drilling this out does not affect where the spring lands. The spring still lands on the lands, obviously, because it goes inside there. Anyway, you want maximum volume for maximum consistency, and you will see that on this chronograph. Also, I forgot to mention, you have to match this port, and you can just take a, oh shoot, I thought I had that. Okay, so I got it right here. Pull this off. You could just take a Dremel stone, and you can go in here on a drill bit, not in a Dremel. You'll get too much chatter. Don't, it's too aggressive. Just put it on a drill and go nice and slow, and open up your barrel transfer port to whatever size your transfer tube is. So everything's got to match. But I'll shoot that chrono here in a minute. But this is the 2240 with the Marauder barrel, and everything else is exactly the same as my 2300. Even the sight, this sight is epic. And if you purchase it, the OTG, I think you should go with the bottom loading battery. I think they're discontinuing it. You don't have that big handle here for pulling the battery tray out the side. Just a little cleaner footprint. But anyway, there's the 2240, and I'll show you the chrono. Okay, this is a shot string that I just laid up, and I'm gonna go through it with you. Okay, so that's 31 shots total. Obviously the power's dropping off. I've got the power setting on the power adjuster to 3/4, so almost full. And that 499 shot and this 514, this 526, 528. Okay, so 27. That 543 shot. That's what I would keep for my averages, extreme spread, standard deviation. So 20. What was that? 28. Is this going to be 27? Oh no, so that was 27. So 27 usable shots is what I got at this power setting. But look at the consistency though, is what I want you to see. So I set it up for basically 550. So you're going to see some shots at 560. You're going to see some shots at 540. This is going to give you a good point of aim for each shot. 10 feet above or 10 feet below, you know, that's exceptional for a CO2 pellet gun. And also, these are 60 seconds in between shots. So I know that's not always achievable, but when I set up a string to see how well whatever mod I've done to increase stability and accuracy, I do a consistent time in between each shot. But look at that consistency. I mean, this is a laser. This gun is an absolute laser. And yeah, 449 is still usable, and of course you can keep going until the last CO2 shot. But if you're shooting targets, I would have dumped the CO2 and put in a new one and did another 27 pellets with the new CO2. Look at that. Unbelievable. Okay, so before we go through this, let me dump the shots I would not have used. So I would use 27 pellets if I go out. Okay, 31, so I'm going to get rid of that. So I'm going to delete that shot. I'm going to delete 514. I'm going to delete 526, 530. Okay, 543. So 540 and 560 is where I would consider my accuracy and point of impact for the pellet to be what I would want. Nope. Let me go back. Okay, so now let's review. So if I go out there with 27 pellets in a tin and shoot a target, this is what I can expect. So my high would be 562. My low would be 543. Average would be 552. That's absolutely perfect. And I can lower that down to an average of 520, and I can get 40 shots, you know, so that's always an option as well. Extreme spread of 20, so that's perfect. Standard deviation of 4. With a 22 caliber, to put out 540 feet per second with a 13 point something grain pellet, that's a lot of power. Maybe I'll get that power. All right, I forgot to mention this. With the UTG Micro Slim, they give you this base, and you can use this dovetail to weaver adapter, the little cheap thing that's been online for a while. It's no good. It absolutely is no good, and you have to file it out to accept the recoil lug. So it's just a shipwreck. Buy the UTG adapter. It's absolutely perfect. It goes in there and it sits just as low as the dovetail base that I modified. I didn't even need to do that. This is an absolutely perfect mount for the Crosman with the UTG adapter. Don't get any other one but the UTG, and they sit low, flush, square, perfect.